about the play coming to you in a dream.
Yes.
I want to touch on a topic that you do not really like talking about in public.
Let's touch and go. Let's touch
yes,
and
we will
go.
definitely touch and go. You're a very spiritual person.
Yes, I am.
You're a healer. And I want to know how you balance being a theater director, being an actress, a writer, vocalist, and all the other. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to yet another exciting edition of the Chick Chat, the show that brings you the best of real and raw conversations with some inspirational women. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please do help me welcome the multi-talented actress, vocalist, writer, theater director, teacher.
Oh.
Do you want me to continue?
Oh.
Okay, guys, it is the one and the only Upile. I'm even scared to say your surname. Because you know what? This one is very fussy. I know. I just know. There was a time where she was just like, you need to say my name correct, okay?
I can't even do that to you because I can't say your name. Okay, so you throw.
Can we try saying each other's, you say my name, I say your surname, because I struggle with it. Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Bongco.
Bong. Gonna practice off camera. Come, let's go.
Go.
Ndivari.
It's incorrect. It is wrong.
I need to go to Limpopo and just to learn a few things.
Speaking of going to Limpopo, me, I want to go to PE.
All right.
You know what I mean? It's where you were born and bred. And I just want to know when the theater acting bug bit you.
Wow, okay, this bug chowed me when I was 6 years old.
Sure.
I was doing pre-primary. Ain't nobody need to know what year it was. And my school was doing Alice in Wonderland, the musical. And of course, I was your Black Alice.
Yes, queen.
Thank you. And I just remember it was called a concert. It wasn't called a play. I don't know anything. It's so weird because obviously I watched TV, but I didn't understand that it was also a performance. But I really just enjoyed doing it. I loved, I guess, taking on a character and telling a story and entertaining people and singing and dancing, doing things that I love, and having people kind of witness that, but not like necessarily witness me. So it was a very beautiful experience and I ran with it, okay? Like throughout my primary school, anytime there was a concert, a play, any kind of thing that involved the stage, I was there, okay? And I followed through with it from, I guess, when I was 6, through high school, even doing house plays, all of that jazz. I also did another musical, Hairspray, in grade 11. And I studied drama from grade 10, and then I did that at Rhodes as well.
I find it interesting that your very first play was a musical. And what people don't know is that you're actually a very good singer. Like, the first and freshest memory I have of you at Rhodes University, and I've told you this like I think 3 or 4 times, you were singing. Did you know then that you would not become a vocalist, because I don't think you are actively pursuing music, but did you know then that you wanted to do song and performance?
I've always been someone who sings. Like, I think even before I actually discovered the acting bug, because I was singing at home and my mom would always like force me to do things that involved singing, because I guess she saw it, she saw it in the home environment, and she was like, little girl, you're gonna go and sing, okay? Not forcefully, but like encouraging, something that she saw in her children. And only recently, like when I did Guasha last year and we did a bit of music with Jefferson Chabalala, I was like, I could actually follow through on this. It was an experience I really enjoyed. And so I could pursue it. Maybe not right now, but it's something I could, tap into.
I think you should.
Maybe I should.
I see myself attending your concert.
What concert? No pressure.
You spoke about your mom, and I want us to, did your mom force your sister to sing also? Because your sister's doing something completely different.
You know what? Me and my sister are very similar, funny enough, in that I guess we're both talented. I hate to use the term, but like she was also someone who sings and who also loved performance. I think the detour between us just kind of took off, I guess, in high school, and she decided to pursue medicine, and I was like, I want to do another kind of healing. You know,
Ooh.
I want to do another kind of healing, and she can do the thing in the theater with their scalpels and their watch lights, and me, I can do the thing in the theater where bodies move and we do healing of the soul.
So powerful.
So I think we both share a love of or a desire to kind of facilitate healing in ways that we've both studied differently, but at its root is it's rooted in healing.
To speak about roads, you know.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Let's go to the Purple University.
Let's go to the Purple University. There's so many plays that you did there, you know, and I don't want to go into all of them, but I want to know which one for you did the stretching in terms of being a performer or a director, really, because you've also directed.
The stretching, wow. I can break it down to two.
It's okay.
I'd say the first one was doing Nyanga, which was in my very first year. And it went on for a year because we ended up taking it to the National Arts Festival the following year. But that particular process was the first time I actually got into or came to understand through practice the art of devising. Because in high school, you picked up a text to perform it.
Yes.
Here, Utembela was like, we are creating something. And I had to be part of the creating process, even though I was an actor. It didn't make sense to me. And so she really stretched me. She forced me to think, and she forced me to think on my feet, particularly. And there was so much belief that she had in me as this like little cute first year little girl, you know, and she stretched me so much in terms of how I think outside the box. And I was like, maybe I might do this thing in third year and see how I do it myself, you know, and like learning from her, I learned so much from her. In terms of acting, I would say In the Blood, which was directed by Tembisa Content.
Yeah.
Wow, it wasn't the first lead role that I had, but it needed a lot from me because of that main character. Hester is a very, very just powerful woman. You can't just go in there and play. Not with something created by Susan Laurie Parks.
Yeah, absolutely.
That girl does not play, okay? No. And so I had to invest in ways that I didn't think I could go. I had to go to places I didn't think I could go, and it really, really like challenged me as a performer. Like, how far can you go? How far can you go without hurting yourself? Because some of these, you know, theories, I'm not gonna name drop some of the theater giants, but you know, some of the methods can be very dangerous. You know, stories about Heath Ledger and how the approach to acting can actually be detrimental to your character as a human being. And so I had to learn how to dig without hurting myself. And that did so much for me. Like, I think about that process today even.
We're speaking of Abu Matumisang and Utembe, like, you know, and probably the other directors that you've worked with, Michelle, you know, they're doing really well, all of them actually. But I'm also wondering the kind of director you think you are. Because generally, I think you're very intense. Like, you don't play. I feel like you're going to be a strict mom. So I want to know the kind of director that you are.
Drag me. I think my director hat and my regular person hat are kind of similar. I think I don't want people to relax because I feel like the beauty comes from exquisite pressure. That's your fave, Janet Buckland, who taught us about exquisite pressure. Like, you can't push, you can't get something out of someone if they're comfortable. And so I'm always challenging my actors, my performers, to pull something out of themselves. And whether that's through music, whether that's through text analysis, whether that's through the experience with other actors in the space, I need them to come out of the experience changed people. And I feel like I might not necessarily have had that in mind or as like an intention in going into process, but it's something that I've found has come into realization afterwards, because I still have people come up to me talking about some of the plays that I've directed, and they're like, that thing you changed my life, you know, like, and it's not like, oh, I made them like experience a 180, but it's also just very much like, oh, even if they had the simplest revelation that they've, you know, taken with them in their lives. And I think that for me brings me joy. I do think I'm tough. I do think people hate me like towards the end of like a process where they're like, oh, but I'm like, that's exactly how I want you. I want you tired so that I can see how far you can push. Yeah, so.
I also feel like you are tough. In general, I think you don't have time to play, you know? You do obviously have a light side, relaxed side, but generally you're like, hey, is it time to work? Let's work, you know? But I also feel like there's a warmth that surrounds that toughness, you know? And I say it because you and I have spoken a lot about the industry.
Yes.
I've broken down in front of you because of, you know, the industry. There is that, Leni, get up and do it.
Yeah.
But it's also layered with so much warmth and care. So I do think, personally, my experience of you is that there is that tough Upile.
Yeah.
And even if I were to work with you and you were to direct something that I was in, you'd stretch me and push me, but not to break me.
Yeah,
to build me. You know?
Never to break. Because I've also been in processes with directors that break you, like, and it feels like they are coming for you in that particular process. And so I'd never want to recreate that kind of environment for someone. I push people, and not even with the intention of them falling into my warmth, but I incorporate the pushing and the challenging within a warm environment. I don't know how to explain that without having someone in a space with me. But yeah, I try to make sure that they're still comfortable to come to me with questions and concerns, even though they know that they need to do the work. Yeah.
And how was directing Isiziba?
Ooh.
We spoke about you being directed and now the kind of director you think you are, but now I want to speak about the process.
Research and Bogart and what exquisite pressure is, because I had 5 weeks to put that thing together.
Sure.
And, you know, it's varsity. You have 2 rehearsals a day. And at that, you can't make people rehearse every single day. You need to give them a break because they have schoolwork.
Schoolwork, yes.
So it wasn't a lot of time. But it was a beautiful experience because that play came to me in a dream. And also other various signs in like real time. But it was challenging. But it was also a very beautiful experience. I think I was so blessed with a wonderful cast that was ready to work. And even when they were slumping, I was like, hey, get it together. Okay, this is my exam. Okay. And they showed up and so it was like we were sweating together. We were sweating together and it was beautiful. It's like, you know, when you're on your last lap and you're like, hey, I'm on my own, and then someone's like, let's go. So it was a very beautiful experience, very challenging as well, because, you know, we're telling stories in where it is adapted from August Wilson's Fences, or what people will know as the play or the movie with Viola Davis and Denzel Washington. But there I wanted to add the principle of consequence, especially with regards to how we people, especially Black people, I'm not going to speak to the experience of other people of other races, but how Black people and the spiritual world and the corporeal are married, and what the idea of consequence is in relation to those two worlds. And so it was a beautiful, nuanced experience. And I wish I could do it again. I would absolutely do it again if I had the opportunity to.
Sure. Sound like a typical drama student. Nuanced. We all say that randomly, like, it's nuanced.
We do.
Play it.
Jargon, honey.
You speak about the play coming to you in a dream.
Yes.
I want to touch on a topic that you do not really like talking about in public.
Let's touch and go.
Yes, we will definitely touch and go. You're a very spiritual person.
Yes, I am.
You're a healer. And I want to know how you balance being a theater director, being an actress, a writer, vocalist, you know, and all the other things that you're talented in. And of course, I'm taking into account that you don't necessarily do them at the same time. But how do you give space for each and every of your talent, plus being a healer?
It actually isn't difficult to do them at the same time. And my experience at Rhodes made it very easy to do them at the same time. Like I said, the play came to me in a dream. When I when I find myself, because you've also directed, when you hit that brick wall and you're like, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? And I go to bed and I wake up and I've got solutions because that's the relationship I have with my ancestry. And I think they love and they understand the work of the theater, that it is a spiritual experience. It's supposed to be a spiritual experience. When I got into the music with Jeff last year, it was absolutely a beautiful time to explore music and to see what I could do spiritually. How do I talk about the spiritual world affecting the real world? How do I talk about that relationship in my music? And we made some beautiful music, I'm not gonna lie. So it's not too difficult to incorporate my spiritual self into my work because it is who I am. I can't like decide, okay, today I don't feel like, but I think breaking into the industry has been a little more difficult because now I'm not creating, I'm not necessarily a director, I'm an actor, so I'm taking direction. And not every play, not every production I'm part of is going to need an explicit spiritual experience. And so in those cases, I'd have to kind of, not necessarily put it to the side, but kind of, just suppress him a little bit. And then I go home and I deal with it. People wake up and pray, sivukas phahla. And you keep it going. And sometimes that, okay, now they need a little bit more attention. Abantu abadala, they need more attention. And my work has to kind of, take a 5-minute break. And you listen. And it's an ongoing relationship. You don't just listen to abantu abadala, you also communicate with them, you talk to them. And so that ongoing conversation allows for a beautiful fruition of something in the real world.
Now, right to Josie. I can yeah, so we're moving from Gqeberha to Gini to Josie.
Yes.
So we are in
Makhanda.
Oh, Makhanda.
All these name changes in the Eastern Cape.
Yes, Makhanda, guys, not Gini. Joburg, there must be an African sounding name for Joburg, but home, they must get on with the program. It's still, Africa, you know what I mean? I can't remember the exact year, but you and I are just like texting each other and you're like, Leni, I'm in Joburg, I'm looking for an agent, and fast forward from that, panic, whatever that was happening with me and you, because we were just like, how do we handle Joburg, and now you're on Scandal. You get your gig on Scandal. That's where I would say it's your first big break because Scandal is big. Yeah. It's big.
I'll take that.
How has it been?
Scandal has been a wonder. It's been a wonder. I use that word. It's an inside joke, but it's been a wonder. It's been a brand new experience in that like I said, like we've shared, I've been doing theater for all of my life, and so it's like, oh, it's a TV, it's a camera, it's a camera, and. Now I have to learn what camera angles are. Who, sweetie, like what, And so there were times where I had to find the wonder. And there were times where the wonder found me. And both have been such beautiful, or have had such beautiful discoveries in them. Things that I will never, ever, ever forget. Like even just conversations offset with some of the giants that I've worked with.
Yeah.
Like, I keep saying like Scandal was big, but like interactions with the people in the space were bigger. They were so much bigger because I am running with those experiences.
Yeah.
Like I hold them here.
Sure.
I hold them here and I'm running with them.
Like, I was so happy when I heard that you're on Scandal. Not because I know you personally, but because I know who you are on stage. Yeah. And I know who you are when it comes to this craft. Yeah. And I could not think of anyone more deserving than you.
Girl, makeup on. Okay, we're not gonna do that.
You're not crying today.
No. We cry when we take off the makeup.
Okay, let me not make you cry. It's fine.
Thank you.
So, of course, maybe by the time this airs, there would have been new developments, right? But as it stands, when we're shooting this, Mamba is out. Goba Chef 8. Do you think Buluko is strong enough to carry on the banter and just...
Hi, Wena, must she be strong?
She, like, just,
my girl has been strong. Why is she's been carrying this whole... Everyone is like, yo, you must kill Bonnie. So I know.
She needs to take over, though. She needs to take over, though. She really needs to take over.
Hey?
Do you think she will?
So?
I think she has it in her. I think she's got that...
No, she's a powerhouse.
No, definitely.
Yo, she is a powerhouse. She's fire. There's so much I had to learn from her as well. Fire. But we'll see.
Hi, okay, guys.
We'll see.
You see actors. Me, I don't like actors. You ask them a question, they're like, yeah, just stay tuned.
Yeah, you have to watch.
So I'm coming to the end of our conversation, but I also feel like I didn't touch on the fact that you are a teacher.
Yeah.
You're literally teaching, friend.
Yes.
You were teaching.
I was.
And can I tell you, when I heard that you were teaching, I was a bit disappointed.
Hi, Bo.
No, seriously. Listen to why. Because I had seen you on stage.
Yeah.
I had seen how brilliant you were on stage. And I'm like, God, can it not be another Rhodes student who's in Makanda and they live in Makanda? Exactly. You know, I didn't want you to end there. And I was like, I just hope somehow she just, you know, pushes out of this town because, you know, with a lot of students in the town that we went to school in, there is that thing of them not wanting to go out, and they're so talented. I know of extremely talented actors who are just in Makanda.
The job itself was a coincidence. It's not something I actively pursued, but it was also something that I really didn't mind because facilitation is something that we come across in our first year already. And then in my third year, I did applied theatre, which also needs you to engage with students. And so it was something that I've always loved. I think I'm definitely, not that I think, I know that my relationship with the education sector has only just begun. I'm definitely going back there. And that experience, I worked when I worked with those girls, taught me so much. Taught me that like you aren't always the teacher. You aren't always the teacher, even though that's my job title, because I learned so much from them. And I also realized that I have a lot of teaching to do. And that goes for formal education, that also goes and runs along the spiritual line of my life, that the teaching just really doesn't end, and it's only like beginning for me. So it was a beautiful experience, and I'm not sad. I'm not sad like you were. I'm not sad that I did it.
Me, I was like, Aibo, what would you like to be remembered as? Because you're doing so many things, you know, but there just has to be that one thing. Even if it's something that encapsulates and brings all these crafts that you're so good at together. But what is the one thing that, if you were not to be here today, this is who we would like Upile to be remembered as?
Can we cut to ad break? Whoa,
Not
okay.
cutting.
I'm going to have to think about that. No. Off the top of my head, and this isn't a title necessarily, but I think I'd like to be remembered as a mover. And not physically. Okay, like Gary Gordon taught me a lot, but someone who was able to move other people, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. I want to be remembered as someone who, like, they don't have to be like, yo, that girl can act, or yo, that girl can sing. I want someone to be able to say, my experience with her moved me.
Sure.
And it's going to sound like I'm blowing my own horn, but having had like retrospective conversations with people, I get that already. And so I feel like it's something I want to build on. Yeah.
I think you're on the right path. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You are absolutely amazing. And I love, firstly, that you allowed the makeup artist to put color on your face.
Sorry, child, these eyelashes are
what's happening
me.
to my But jokes aside, I really, really appreciate you sharing yourself with us on our TV screens in this intimate space. I do hope that we see you more in these theatre spaces. I do hope that you direct plays that we can audition for, and I see this.
It's happening.
Upile. You know, I hope you penetrate the industry and you flourish and you soar so high, because I think and I believe that you're deserving of it. I think you have so much talent, it's overflowing, and the fact that you strive for nothing but to be excellent in every of them is the reason why I just want the world to experience your magic.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. And thank you for giving me this platform to chat. I'm nervous, but it was so beautiful. Thank you for having me.
And that is how we end today's conversation. I always and absolutely appreciate you guys tuning in, for engaging with us on social media. If you want to engage, it's Leni_Divine on Twitter.
Are you not sure?
I'm never sure about my handles. They'll pop up on screen, guys. I'm never sure about them.
That's Upile without an H, UPILE_Uthixo on Twitter and on Instagram.
That's it. We out.